What has been the better investment, gold or silver? I've been stacking for close to 10 years, and I'm actually saying goodbye to some of my gold, taking advantage of the higher prices at the moment. More on that in a future video. But for now, I can ask and answer, what has been better for me, gold or silver? And if I put that in perspective by saying that I bought this $20 gold coin for £979.96 Great British pennies back in 2017 and told you that today it's worth nearly £2,000, sorry, £2,400, you would be quite impressed with that return. But has that been worth it over this time period? We'll find out as we go throughout our precious metal ramble. But it's not just that, there are other gold coins that have done exceptionally well for me over that time period. So I'm afraid silver, you're not quite as good as gold, and this is why. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. And the question I'm asking today is, has gold been a good investment for me? And is gold a good investment generally? Now, I can't answer for everybody out there, and everybody's different circumstances and situations and preferences will of course be a factor. And also whether or not you even have gold, it will be maybe, is silver a good investment? But at the end of the day, I have decided recently to part ways with some of my gold. This little box here is going to be sent off to a dealer. I say sent off, I'm going up to a dealer to liquidate it. Now, a little bit more on all of that and that process and what I'm going to be doing with the money and proceeds of what is nearly 12.5 ounces worth of gold in a future video. Definitely one to watch out for. If you are not subscribed, then subscribe, and you'll find that when it's published in a couple of weeks. But as I'm about to say goodbye to some of this gold, I thought I'd sort of do a little bit of a retrospective look at whether or not it was worth buying and whether or not I would buy any gold again, if I might in the future, or if I had no gold right now. We'll hypothesize that question. My most popular video on the channel is, if I had no gold right now, what would I buy? And the answer would certainly still be gold, but it might be in a different form, something like a sovereign. But we'll talk more on that as we go. So let us know your thoughts down in the comment section, what you think of gold as an investment and silver as well. We'll talk a little bit about silver as a comparison, maybe compare and contrast as we go throughout this video. So let me know what you've got to say. So, has it been a good investment? Now, as a lot of you may know on this channel, I don't really like the word investment when it comes to gold, because gold is very subjective in my opinion about whether or not, I think this was the oldest one here, yes, whether or not it is technically an investment. It's a hedge in my opinion, and it always has been a hedge. It's something that you put your money into that is not cash. It's just an asset that will grow and do something different to cash and hopefully retain that buying power. Is it as good as a stock or a share? Depends on the time frame that you're measuring against. For example, if you had measured your portfolio of stocks and shares at a given point, say, when was it, like mid-February, when the big Trump slump came in after all the announcements about tariffs, then you could argue that stocks and shares probably didn't do so well. But you look at the turnaround that's happened since then, and you could argue very much that stocks have performed better than gold. In fact, I've got some stocks and shares that have performed way better than gold, but they come with different risks. And that's why gold is a good hedge for me. So not really an investment, but has it been worth buying for me? Well, we'll just have a look at some of the plain numbers here, because part of my little record keeping is that I will write, I haven't done it on some of these, I know, but I've got a big master spreadsheet where I've got all of the different bits of gold recorded. But on some of them, I will have written on where I bought it, when I bought it, and how much I bought it for. And this is one of the oldest pieces of gold that I'm saying goodbye to at the moment. And this I bought from Hatton Garden Metals back in November 2017. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 8 years just about in November this year. 7.5 years that I've had this coin. And you can see the price I paid for it is £979.96 Great British pennies. And the fact is that gold now is at such a price that this coin is, I can't remember the exact price that I've agreed on with the dealer, but I think it's around £2,450-ish. It was basically just a percentage point or two underneath spot price. And I'll talk more about in the future video about why I'm selling to a dealer with these coins and what I'm doing with the proceeds of this. So save your questions for that then, and don't shout at me in the comment section about that I'm not getting the best price for it. There are other reasons at play as to why you might want to do things the way I'm doing things.
And now just a quick word from our sponsor, Trusty Metrics. Testing your precious metals and making sure that they are indeed precious is really important. And to that end, I'm very happy to partner with Trusty Metrics, who are the UK's exclusive supplier of the Sigma precious metal verifiers. But it's not just the UK, they can supply all around the world, and they are really good at what they do. The machines are fantastic, and I stand by them as incredibly valuable pieces of kit to have for any stacker or small business or big investor. Whether you are testing gold on the investor model or testing big 100-ounce silver or indeed gold bars, they can test up to those big chunky gold ones as well. These machines will not let you down. They are fantastic and they are really good. They've helped me grow my business over the last few years to levels that I thought I wouldn't really ever get to. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. You can go and ask them any questions about the products, the different machines that they've got, and everything that you would need to know. All of their information is on the website, as well as all the different machines that they've got available for sale. So go and check them out. And as I said, they ship worldwide and they'll help you test your stack. If there's something you're not sure about, their customer service is second to none. And I can highly recommend them, the team, and these machines. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. Links are down in the description box below.
But the sheer fact of the matter is that this coin has 2.5 in value in terms of money. Now, how has money performed over the last 8 years, 7.5 years? I would argue that things are a lot more expensive. Are they 2.5 times more expensive, though? That's the question that I sort of look at. And whilst there have been a lot of years worth of inflation, recently we've seen some big old years of chunky inflation. I would say that we haven't totaled 150% inflation over that time period. So is it quite as bad as that? I would say no, but is it still better in maybe a stock or a share? I could definitely argue to you, yes, there are stocks and shares that have performed better. Property potentially has performed better as well. In fact, I can definitely tell you property has performed better. The little house that we bought 10 years ago most certainly did better than any gold or silver that we owned at the time, but it was a bit of a unique period in properties. So very interesting to see that comparison. We've got here an 8-year odd coin that has done very well on that side. I've got one of these 50 pesos coins here. This one's done very well. This was back in 2018, £1,133 for this. You can't buy these for less than £3,000 now. So again, 2.75 almost in terms of return on this. It's absolutely crazy. I will be sad to see this 50 pesos go. It's one of my favorite coins. I do have some others stashed away in my stack that I am holding on to for now, but I will be liquidating this. And as I said, more info on why I'm doing that in a future video. So don't ask those questions down in the comments. I will be talking all about that at a later date. But still, the fact remains that it has done very well from a financial perspective. Now, there is unfortunately one elephant in the room that I want to address, and it's called capital gains taxes. In fact, look, I've got two 50 pesos coins. You can see here just the price difference. If we've got the sticker, yes, on the other side. You can see the price difference here of these two coins just about a year and a half apart from each other. How gold shot up. But anyway, capital gains tax, that's a thing. That, if you don't know what that is, I'm not here to give tax advice, but basically if you buy a product like this coin here for £1,133.26 Great British pennies, and then you sell it, as I'm doing, for £2,900, whatever it is, the price I've agreed, there is a profit there. You minus the total that you get from the cost of the coin, and that's your profit. And because this is not a Great British coin, it's not a Britannia or a coin made by the Royal Mint, it means it is a chargeable asset, which means that you have to self-report to HMRC and say, hey, I've made a profit on this. And when you add up all of the different bits here that I've got profit on, and we've got a £3,000 allowance per person here, I'm already over the limit on these coins, so I will have to pay some tax. So the beautiful gain there that I'm saying that I've got on these coins is somewhat mitigated by the fact that I have to pay 28% of, is it 28 or 24? I forget what the rate is right now, but it's like 20+% 90+% of my gain needs to go to the tax man, which sucks. And when I bought these coins, the tax allowance, the tax-free allowance was about, well, it was like 12,000 a year per person. So between you and a partner, a spouse, Mrs. Backyard Bullion, we would be absolutely fine. And I thought, absolutely no problems. Could not see or fathom that that rate would go down. I was wrong. I was completely wrong about that. The world fundamentally shifted and changed from 2018, but maybe we should have seen the writing on the wall come sort of 2021, 2022, post-COVID, spending on the rise. But I kind of just put my head in the sand and didn't see it. And then, of course, the rates start coming down, the allowance came down, and then it came down again to 3,000. I can imagine it going away completely, or the government changing the CGT rules such that it would put it up to equivalent with your income tax rate, which for me would be 40%, and that would absolutely suck. So what I'm doing, and I'm kind of alluding to why I'm doing it, is I'm liquidating down some of these assets such that I don't gain even more on them. And we'll talk more about that in the video to come. But anyway, the point is that CGT has been an issue for some of these coins. Now, there are some coins here that have no CGT attached to them. So we've got one here that I bought from the European Mint in September 2020. It's the Royal Arms coin. And that one is a Royal Mint coin. It is £100 denomination, therefore CGT free. So this one has basically doubled in value. So that's £1,235 worth of profit that I don't have to pay tax on. In fact, I don't even have to factor it into my calculations on my CGT form and bill. So that's really lovely and that's really good. Those are the kind of coins that in retrospect, I really should have bought more of. However, there is a bigger, deeper fundamental thing here. I realize I haven't talked about silver yet and I will go on to that in a moment, but you guys know what I like to do. I like to ramble. There is a bigger picture thing here. Has gold been a good investment from a monetary perspective? Yes. Has there been potentially other things that were better? Maybe. It depends on your risk portfolio, what you like, what you don't like. But one thing that this stuff has taught me is how to save better, how to put money away smarter, how to use your money to get further quicker. Quicker is probably not the right word, but get your money further into the future without losing its value. You know, interest rates have been historically very low before sort of 2023. I think they started shooting up again with the inflation. And a lot of people go, putting money in a bank account and getting 5% on it or 4% on it is great. Well, it is and it isn't because you pay tax on that. And so you're actually really only getting about maybe 2.5%. And if inflation's running at 3%, then you're losing money every year. Whereas with this stuff, it should beat the inflation target. That's the plan anyway. And in my opinion, I think it has smashed it out of the water. If I'd had, £1,000 worth of money in a bank for 8 years, it would not be worth £2,500 right now. That is for sure. So certainly with the low interest rates that we had along that time period. And there is a lot to be said about that. And simply the fact that I've been able to grow as a saver, grow as a stacker, grow as somebody who's really enjoyed this. And it's given me a lot of joy. And that's, I think, really important. Money in a bank account is lovely and it's great to see that money, that interest coming in. But to get some additional love and joy out of what you have as a financial responsibility, that's pretty cool. And I love that. And I do think that's pretty amazing. Now, I said I'd talk about silver a little bit. Has silver done any better? Well, yes and no. There is certain elements of silver that have done really well. There are certain coin types, and we're talking now more into the kind of collectible sphere of influence rather than just, bullion weight, which is very much what these coins are all about. It's just bullion weight, just have them, sell them. That's why I'm happy to take all my gold to a dealer. But silver is a little bit of a different animal. I don't really want to take my silver to a dealer because there was a premium attached to when I bought the vast majority of my investment silver. There will be potential premium attached to a lot of the coins, like a lot of the Queen's Beast, for example, the 10-ounce Queen's Beast. Britannia's, there's a little premium on them. For milky ones like this that have got my grubby handprints all over them, you're probably looking at, I could sell these no problem at £3 over spot on the Silver Forum or on my Buyers Club. But, from a dealer, you probably get a roughly the same price for this kind of coin. But there are other coins that could do a lot better. So I will say to you that from a premium perspective, silver's a bit more difficult. In terms of a financial return, there are in fact coins in my stack that I bought for about £11 an ounce, which when you compare with the £26, £27 an ounce, maybe with the premium £29 an ounce, you're getting close to the territory of where gold was in terms of that financial monetary return. Is it a little bit more difficult to realize those returns? Yes. Is it a little bit more impractical to realize those returns? For sure, because this whole pile of 25 Silver Britannias here is worth about, 800 quid, 750? I don't know what the maths is right now, but 850 quid, maybe something like that. And you look at this here, Every single one of these coins on this table is worth way more than that. This is the cheapest coin on the table here. It's a half-ounce gold coin. I bought it for 620. It's worth £1,250 now. So you look at this and you go, well, yeah, that's just easy. It's one little thing. If you have the same amount, this hole here, this 12.5 ounces worth of gold, that's nearly 30 grand's worth. To have that much money in silver, you're talking about like 28 kilos. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot. And if I was going to be trying to shift that, then there's some issues to factor in there as well as storage and things like that. So has gold been a good investment? Yes. Has silver been a good investment? Yes. Has gold been better than silver? You can bet your bottom dollar it has. And I will have no regrets in saying that in my conclusion, if I had no gold or silver right now and I was looking to put some money away for the next 8, 9, 10 years, then gold would be the thing. And of course, gold prices have come down in this last week. With the bigger geopolitical situations going on, I don't know where it's going to go. It could go back up again any minute now. In fact, I haven't checked it since last night. So, I mean, let's have a quick look and see where it is right now. £2,445. Here, I'll give Bullion by Poster an inadvertent little shout out. I always use them as my charts table. 2445.22 is the current price of gold. Cheaper than it was last week, £50-60 an ounce cheaper. So I think there's probably going to be a lot of people who will rush out to buy. I am not here to give financial advice, but you can bet your bottom dollar that I think in a few years' time we're going to see bigger prices than that. So we'll see where it goes is I think what we want to do. But hey, that is my thoughts on gold and silver as an investment. I'd love to know what you've got to say about this subject, so please feel free to comment down below with your thoughts and opinions. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, then you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. For the Cool Kids Club, I would like you to quote me £979.96 Great British pennies, as this is the oldest gold coin. I say oldest, this is the longest owned gold coin I have on the table, and that is quite the price tag. If you could buy this coin for £979.96 Great British pennies today, you would be a very, very happy camper for sure. So yes, if you are cool, let me know by quoting down below. Otherwise, that's it from me. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.